to 10 on HSN and shop all month long at hsn.com.
Well, this is a new day here at HSN. We're live here in the studio in Florida, and we have got the EcoFlow. Yep, it's June, the beginning of hurricane season, so we're all thinking about emergency preparedness. Sure, we're thinking about camping and tailgating and having power anywhere we want, whenever we want. This is the EcoFlow Delta 3. It's the newest, latest, and greatest generation that will power 99% of your appliances. And we have never done a configuration like this. This is brand new. This is exclusive to HSN, and this is at a price that we've never done before. This model has 13 ports. That's right, 13 ports of power, including your USB ports, your C ports, your AC ports. It is the Delta 3. So we're gonna jump in and I'm gonna tell you what your choices are. I'm Helen Keeney. Please follow me on social media. On Instagram, I'm the official Helen Keeney, and on Facebook, I'm Helen Keeney Comedy. All right, so what we're doing is a choice of just the EcoFlow, or, and I honestly think this is a better deal, the EcoFlow by itself, $519.99, but we have a bundle for just $100 more. You get a $250 solar panel, and then also a $160 wagon. And this wagon is from EcoFlow, and it is, designed for you to, bring your EcoFlow wherever you want to go. And the wagon, again, by itself, $160. And then also, you've got your solar panel, and that is, I think it's $230 on sale on hsn.com. So if you take $230 and add that to $160, well then you're talking about the EcoFlow being just a few $100s. It's really such a better deal to get the EcoFlow with the bundle. Now we are doing VIP financing and free shipping and handling. So if you get just the EcoFlow by itself, you get a year to pay it off with the HSN card or our sister network QVC. They have something called the Q card, and you get a year to pay that off. It's about $43.33 a month. If you get the bundle, we jump it up to a year and a half to pay it off, and then it's $34.45 a month. It's actually less money per month because you get an extra 6 months of interest-free time to pay it off. Here's the HSN card. To get one, it takes about a minute. There's no annual fee. You can go to our website, hsn.com, and you put an HSN card in the search, or you can call the 800 number, 695-1418. We're to be talking about the EcoFlow for this entire hour. Our special guest is Justin Hyatt, who's standing by in the kitchen, and we're going to talk about how this will power 99% of your appliances, Justin.
99%, and something that weighs less than 30 pounds, that doesn't need to be outside, that we can be able to use in a multiple different ways, in indoors and outdoors, and be able to use it for emergencies and for non-emergencies, and for those emergencies that could just be the 3 hours that we're out of power. But now with our wagon, now we can be able to actually wheel this around. I love this wagon for this moment when the lights go down and the lightning strikes. Now I can just take my wagon with my EcoFlow, and now I actually have an even more portable version of our power station. Now I can go ahead and just come over here in these types of emergencies, plug it in, turn it on, just 2 seconds. I'm just gonna hold that power button on, and then I'm just gonna press one more button, and then we're gonna get power right here to our lamp. And then what else can I do in the kitchen? Well, just about everything. At 99%, that means I can use my microwave. I can use, for instance, a full-size refrigerator. I've got my full-size refrigerator right here, so no power. It takes 2 seconds now. And this is the greatest part about EcoFlow, is that it's easy, that you don't have to worry about the stress, you don't have to worry about the setup, you don't have to worry about the maintenance. And now in 2 seconds, we're gonna have power right here to that full-size refrigerator. And here's the other great thing. Talk about simplicity. You don't even have to worry about guessing how long I could run anything for, because now on this display, it's gonna tell you exactly everything that you need to know. How much power you're pulling, and then it's gonna also calculate and tell me I've got roughly about, it's telling me right now, about 16 hours right now for that full-size refrigerator and for the light. So we talk about all the different ways that we can use it, but in that pinch and having it here for that emergency, so we can not only keep our food cool, but then have a full-size microwave to cook our food and then take all of these things outdoors. But this is the Delta 3. This is the latest and greatest. This is one of those moments where it's that perfect size. It's not too big. It's not too small. This is also, for the very first time, IPX65 rated. So it's splash proof for water, for oil, for dust, for smoke. This is going to be protected and extra durable, unlike any of the power stations that we've used before. It looks a little bit different than the ones that you've seen in the past as well. It's even lighter weight than its predecessors. It's also expandable, so much that we can talk about with this, but then you've got all of the outlets right here on the front. So I've only plugged in a light and a full-size refrigerator, but I could do a fan, a microwave, and I'm not unplugging to plug things in. But it is the beginning of hurricane season, and so if you are thinking about having something there for you, which you know you're gonna need, and then Helen, then just taking it out to the picnic, you're gonna love this wagon, because the wagon we've never done before, and this is a total exclusive bundle. So you're gonna take the solar panel out, you're gonna take the wagon, and you're gonna go have just a wagon wheel good old time.
Yeah, whether you're taking the margarita mix and putting it in the back of the, the car for the tailgating, or if you're, maybe you're out in the garage and there's no power in your garage, but you're, going to do some woodworking, or maybe you've got what we have here in Florida called a Florida room. It's sort of a screened-in area, but there's usually no power. Maybe you want some air conditioning. You can plug in a portable air conditioning unit to this. This is kind of, in Florida, this is a have rather than, it's a need rather than a want to have power. There's lots of different things you can do to get extra power for your house. And I'm not saying there's anything bad about having a generator, but you need gasoline for a generator. And I can tell you what happened during Milton is, we did not have the gasoline at the gas stations being replenished. So everybody who had a generator, or cars for that matter, all the gas was gone. And then when they were able to bring it back in, there was lines so far around the block that they had to call the police to monitor the line to get gas. But here with the EcoFlow, you're recharging it over and over and over with the power of the sun. That's why I recommend that everybody getting it, especially today with this bundle, get the bundle, because you can get the EcoFlow by itself, or you can get it with the continuous free recharging with a solar panel. You can even be plugging it in and charging things, and at the same time recharging it, simultaneously powering things and recharging with the solar panel. And this really cool wagon made by EcoFlow, it's branded by EcoFlow with like all-terrain tires, and it has like a very I'm going camping look about it. So if you would like to get that, I really recommend getting the bundle so that you can, put your solar panel, which by the way comes with a case, right? The solar panel does with a case.
Comes with a case.
It does come with a case, because they usually do. I just didn't see it out here, but it comes with a case. I know, because I bought one and I have the case. I will tell you, during, we say, of course, during the hurricane we used it, but I used it many times. There's many other times we've lost power. If you work at home and you need power to continue working at home, to have, the internet needs power, your laptop needs power. Or if you've got, maybe family comes over, you're all watching a movie and there's a power outage. Even that hour of inconvenience is eliminated with the EcoFlow. And Justin, I know we're going to go through a lot of different things, because this powers 99% of all appliances, including medical devices like nebulizers, CPAP machines, and so much more. But this really, what are our choices for power? I see you have a generator, and nothing against generators, but you have to know all the safety rules. You have to have gasoline, and there has to be gasoline available.
Exactly. We think about, well, gas will always be there, and it just won't. I grew up in South Florida, born and raised. I can tell you, I've been through many hurricanes, even just this past couple of years of hurricanes here in the Tampa area. First thing that's going to go is food, water, gas. You need to go out, get prepared, and get ready, and you do it roughly, well, when it's convenient for you. Unfortunately, we have to work all the time too, right? It's not like we can just get out there and then, well, we can get gas when we need to. When you get the chance to, the gas isn't there, and then you wait, and then you said we waited in 3-hour lines to get gas. So not that generators are a bad thing, they're just not for everybody. What generators are good for people who can actually physically manage one and are capable of actually using it. If you live in an apartment or condo,
they're not good for you.
You can't, not good for you.
Right.
You can't use one. So, right, and talk about transporting. Look, this thing weighs over 100 pounds. This is my generator. Talk about not transporting it. This was under 3 feet of water. It was in my garage just this past hurricane. I wasn't able to lift this thing up and carry it up the stairs into the house. So it ended up flooding. Prior to even flooding, the battery was completely dead on it. And I didn't even consider that because this is one of those kind of push button starts. You do also have the pull crank. So I was like, well, if the push button's not working, I'll just use the pull crank. Once you use the pull crank, and the pull crank would work. It was like Murphy's Law. I talk about it all the time. I'm like, the irony here. And of course, don't get me wrong, I have plenty of EcoFlows. But it was just one of those things like right there where you're like, okay, this is exactly why we need alternative energy and we need other options. So I love having the portability of having this now with our wagon. Look, you're gonna use this wagon a lot. Trust me, it is very, very well made. Even the handle has a really, really nice spring. It does collapse. It even has a really nice cover that comes included with it as well, along with the little bungee cord. So you're gonna love this. And you're gonna love it because although this is one of our more lighter weight power stations, still it's 30 pounds. So now you'll be able to wheel this around. Now, talk about, again, portability, but also alternative energy. Now we've got our solar panels, because now with our solar panels, we're gonna have renewable power, and we're not gonna have to worry about simply relying on solely one thing that we know is extremely limited, like gas. Great. If you can own one of these, perfect. That's not for everybody. This setup is. And then we, of course, have it in all those different alternative places in our home, like a washer and dryer. So all those different things that are maybe not necessarily necessities, but it would be kind of creature comfort to know that I can use my washing machine. And then we've got it right here. But let's talk about this. If you need an extra tank of gas, well, you go to a gas station.
Right.
We have an extra tank of gas for your power station. And this is one of the things that's really, truly amazing. So you're automatically getting an unbelievable value. Exclusive to only here at HSN. What we're showing you
it's right here. And not all of the EcoFlows are able to multiply their power by adding extra batteries.
Yeah.
So the extra battery is right here. And let me give you the details if you'd like to grab it. You know, we're at the beginning of the day, and I'll tell you, every single time we've had an extra battery available, it sells out. I'm doing the show right now at midnight, but I'm also doing the show at the end of the day at 10 p.m. and I'm also doing the final presentation at 11 p.m. if we have the Today Special left. But I will tell you, we will not have this left. We have way less of the Delta 3 extra battery, and that is $449.99. You're basically doubling your power without doubling your price. It's 12 months at $37.50. If you want to use VIP financing, that's the price broken up into 12 interest-free payments. And not all the EcoFlows you can add extra battery power to.
No, exactly. And so essentially what are you doing? You're doubling the time that you can power everything that you plug in.
Right.
So I love that. So imagine, you know, and I don't know if we have that graphic ready that will show you exactly how long you can run all of these different appliances. So imagine now having that extra tank of gas, and all you need to do is connect it with one cable. So we're showing you some of kind of our home backup with our television, our CPAP machine, all of the different things that we can plug in, our routers and such. But when we think about all the things you can plug in and also the time that you can be able to power all of these appliances too, it's really, really important to look at that and say, all right, well, how long can I run my refrigerator? Remember, even what we were just showing you, you'll be able to see exactly how long you can run all of those appliances for when you plug it in. And we've got a lot of the lists even on our .com and on other sites where you'll be able to see exactly kind of which appliance and for how long you can run it for. Let's talk about some of the small stuff really quickly, and then we'll get to some of this other really nice creature comforts. Just the power of technology, like we were just showing you. Be nice to have that open line of communication, having our phones, having our tablets, having our laptops. Your husband who works from home.
From home.
So he needs internet, he needs his computer, he needs his monitor. This will run all of this. This is also a UPS, meaning if he's working from home and he's in the middle of doing documents or whatever he might be doing, and then all of a sudden you lose power, if you have your computer plugged into your EcoFlow and your EcoFlow plugged into the wall, automatically within about 30 milliseconds, this will, 20 milliseconds, this will automatically continue to turn on and then run anything that you've got plugged in. So I love that. Now, talk about some other creature comforts, and I love that I'm using the wagon, and I'm using it because typically I've got to carry these around everywhere, so I'm going to be using it, and I'm in love with this, and I'm in love with the wagon.
Take advantage.
I'm going to tell you, look, I spent like $150 on this wagon not too long ago, like probably a couple years ago. Like the first week, the wheel stopped working. And let me tell you, we have a squeaky wheel, literally a squeaky wheel, and you're walking around an apartment building. Everybody can hear you. It's not fun. Anyway, I really impressed with the wagon. All right, the creature comforts. Now we went from maybe our home office into our bedroom, into our living room. Now we could have our television. I want to show you again, just one touch of a button to turn this on. That's it. So no maintenance outside of just keeping it recharged. And then right here, what I'm gonna do, maybe I just turned it off. I'm gonna hold that button down really quickly, turn it on, and then I'm just gonna press one button right here, which turns on my AC outlets. And we'll give you a quick tour of all of this as well. But now I've got a light and now I've got a fan. You light a fan, and if you don't realize during the summertime, and maybe you're beginning to now as it starts to heat up, the importance of staying cool at home and in home and maybe outside of your home. So having a light so you're not sitting there in the dark, a fan so you're not just sitting there in the heat, and now being able to power it right here from something that you can truly run inside your home, and it's completely quiet, about 30 decibels this is running at. So let's just give a quick tour of what you're gonna see right here on the front again. So we got 1, 2, 3, 2-prong AC outlets. We got 1, 2, 3, 3-prong AC outlets. Then we have 2 of our USB-C ports and then 2 of our USB-A ports. On the back is gonna be a DC port and where you also charge it. And this is the other really amazing thing. And I feel like this is, Helen, what was that show? Well, Tim the Tool Man? Looking at you.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Looking at you right now over the solar panel.
No. Home
is the neighbor that was over the fence.
Right over, yeah.
Yes. Recharging this is what's really, truly amazing. The battery technology. Look, there's a reason why
I thought you meant that other show we were talking about earlier.
Oh, no, not that one.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not that one.
Yeah.
No, I think when you're thinking about just getting something new, why do you want the upgrade? Why are you wanting something that's truly on the precipice of the newest technology? It's the battery technology. It's not like we just changed the name to Delta 3. The battery technology that's in this one will last you longer, is lighter weight, charges even faster. So this used to have roughly about a recharge rate from 0 to 80% in over an hour. 0 to 80% on this, Helen, in 30 minutes, and then 0 to 100% in 56 minutes. That is unbelievable. That's faster than, well, pretty much everybody in the industry. That's what we do with EcoFlow. And we haven't even talked about this. EcoFlow is the #1 brand and company in the world right now doing exactly this, giving alternative energy to us, people who have not had that option of power at home and have need of that power of home because of that peace of mind. And as we always talk about, Helen, it's the ifs, it's the whens. We know here in Florida, it's only a matter of time that we're gonna be dealing with hurricanes again, year over year over year. The battery technology on here will last you at a minimum 10 years at a minimum, which is why it's not a 2-year warranty. You get a 5-year warranty along with a 10-year lifespan with your power station as well.
Right, and when I think about in the 17 years I've worked here, all the products that I've presented, I think the EcoFlow is more people that work here have an EcoFlow, have this product than any other product that I've ever presented. I mean, because across, you know, men, women, everybody that works here has an EcoFlow because we're in Florida, power goes out, it's emergency preparedness, we need that. But I think about, where do you live? I lived in New York City for many years and there was blackouts and brownouts. I lived in Los Angeles for a long time. Now I moved from there to live here. My daughter lives there now, and I think about sometimes in California they turn off the power because they're afraid that there's gonna be, you know, like fires and things like that. But what do you do if you've got somebody who needs to use a nebulizer, or if it's too hot and that's a safety issue, if you have a baby, or if you're older, like I am, like I'm older, and it's like the older you are, the more it's dangerous. Stop laughing at me, I am older. I'm over 60, that counts as older. And you need to have it like cool and the temperature. I mean, honestly, in my house, Justin, if it's 2 degrees different than what I want it, I'm miserable. I am miserable. So I wouldn't even stay in my house if I couldn't have like a fan or a portable air conditioner going. And I can tell you the other thing that happens, you may not think about during a hurricane or disaster, because we've lived through it here in Florida. I usually say, oh, well, you know what, I'll just go to a hotel. Well, guess what? The hotels don't have power either during these lightning storms. And I think we're getting one right now, Justin.
I always think about this. Helen and I were live doing, talk about Murphy's Law, literally live doing these presentations. Obviously, we simulate this because it triggers something in you. You feel that. We've all been through it, that storm. It truly happened to us in the middle of our presentation.
We had a literal power outage during an EcoFlow presentation.
Literally couldn't have happened at a better time. But again, we were able to just kind of joke about it because we're like, oh, we've got our EcoFlow.
We got our EcoFlow, we're fine.
But it is that peace of mind. I mean, that's what peace of mind means, is that when you do lose power, that you're not sitting there thinking, what are we going to do? You now know what you're gonna do. You're gonna grab your EcoFlow, you're gonna plug a light in, you're gonna plug a fan in, you're gonna plug a portable air conditioning in, you're gonna continue to do your laundry, you're gonna come and you're actually gonna sleep the night, well, cool, because as you said, nobody likes to sleep hot.
Right.
But you have a fan, but you also have a CPAP machine. We've read over the past 7 years, this is our 7-year anniversary, 7 years that we've been doing EcoFlow here, which is unbelievable to me. But over those 7 years, you can imagine all of the different people just like you, individuals who have different necessities. We all rely on the same thing, power. But when it comes to medical devices, you need to have a backup. A CPAP machine is not just something that's an afterthought. It is at the forefront of what you think about, especially if you need one. The same thing with oxygen machines and dialysis machines or nebulizers for anybody who has asthma, or for instance, the little mini refrigerator that I've got here that has insulin for type 1 diabetics. That's my sister. She's off at college as your daughter's off in California. You think about those things because when you can't be there, you're thinking about how can I at least give some form of safety. And this is one of those things, especially whether it's not for you or for somebody else, knowing that if somebody wants to continue to have that independence but still is relying on medical devices, that medical device needs what? It needs power. You need to consider having a plan. Over these past 7 years, we're proud to say that EcoFlow has become the #1 plan for backup power here at HSN. It's also become the #1 plan for, well, global now in 140 plus different countries and almost 5 million customers. So use it right by your bed. And remember, it runs whisper quiet. So have a light, have your CPAP machine running, and you're gonna be feeling really, really confident knowing that you've got something, finally, that you're gonna be able to utilize at home.
You know, I can't believe how quickly this hour is flying by. We do a 30-minute presentation, take a break, and do another 30-minute presentation. We've got about 9 minutes left before we're gonna take a break. Let me just tell you what the today's special is. It's the EcoFlow Delta 3, which is the latest and greatest. It has a big capacity with 13 ports, and Justin just went over that with you, including AC ports, USB C and USB-A ports. I mean, so it's like you can charge your iPhone in here, and you could also plug in your refrigerator because of several three-prong outlets. So this is going to be something that you're going to use. And I'll tell you, the other thing is, I think this is something I've lent to people more than anything else I own, because I have friends that, like, sometimes they get power outage and I don't have it, and then we lend each other our EcoFlows, and then then I'll have a power outage and they'll have their power back, because it's not all everybody at once. It kind of like is a, you know, stages kind of a thing. So your choice is the EcoFlow Delta 3, the latest and greatest version, by itself for $519.99, which is you know, $200 off the deal price of HSN, or the Eco Delta 3 plus the solar panel, where you can recharge this for free over and over and over again forever. And then also this really cool wagon, and it also folds up. And I just want to, I don't know if I haven't done this yet, but it looked pretty easy, where you just pull it up and then it folds up like this. Yeah, it's pretty easy. And then you separate it out. That's how you unfold it. If you're traveling with it, and this is how you charge your EcoFlow, and this is the case that your wagon comes in. And I do recommend getting the wagon because you're able to like take it around wherever you need it, the garage, the Florida room, the driveway, even if it's like Halloween and you want to show a movie on your garage door. And where's the plug in the middle of the street? Well, what you do is you have your EcoFlow, you plug in your projector and you project the movie on the outside garage. I've seen lots of people do that. There's so many reasons. Those of you who own EcoFlows probably have more ideas than Justin and I, even though we're giving you an hour of ideas. It's literally power wherever you want it. Maybe you go camping and maybe somebody's like, you know what, I'd love to go camping, but I have a CPAP machine. Problem solved. You're like, well, I'd love to go tailgating, but I really want to bring my induction burner or my Wolfgang Puck air fryer, and I want to have, this kind of snack. Well, you could bring it, put this right in the back of the truck, and then there you go. So incredibly fun. So it's a choice of getting this by itself or getting it with these two guys. $160 value, $230 value. So it's only $100 more. So it's a steal of a deal to get the solar panel. Now, you can recharge your EcoFlow. Let's say you use it. You use it for hours and hours. You're charging your full-size refrigerator. You're charging, you're plugging your TV into it. You've got so many things, and then it needs to be recharged. Well, you could recharge it, but if you don't have power, how are you going to recharge it? Well, you could go to somebody's house who has power and recharge it. You can plug it into your car and drive around to recharge it. Or you can add the solar panel, which is why I got it with the solar panel. And I got it when it was a Today Special, and it was a deal. It was on sale, just like you guys are doing. This is actually on sale right now, and by itself, it's $230 on sale. It's on sale right now. So it's like saying you're getting the EcoFlow for like $150 because you get a $160 wagon. This is the best deal I've ever seen. I can tell you the EcoFlow I got was the most powerful at the time, not as powerful as this, and the price was about double. It was about $900 and something. And that was maybe 5 years ago. So what has happened with technology? It has improved. We're doing other specials. When other people are raising prices, this is the lowest price we've ever done, the best deal for a bundle. We've never done a deal at this price, including the wagon and the solar panel. So I think Justin has gone back to the kitchen to show more great things you can do, because I just finished doing the final presentation of yesterday's Today Special, which was an air fryer. We had an induction burner to show, the amazing cookware from Wolfgang Puck. All those things you could use with your EcoFlow, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, literally, this is why I didn't want to bring you in here. I know you were. You spent all day in here.
I spent too long in the kitchen.
You spent way too long. But think about it. Wolfgang was in here all day. Think about all the different things. The air fryer that was just the Today Special yesterday, whether it was induction burners that Wolfgang has as well, anything else, all those high wattage appliances like a microwave, an air fryer, an induction burner. Those will be able to be run right here from our power station. And remember, we were just showing you why you want the solar panel, additional solar panel, why you want that extra battery. That extra battery is going to give you double the amount of time that you can run all of the different things that we're showing you right now. So for instance, I'm showing with the refrigerator plugged in, I've got roughly about 19 hours right now for the refrigerator. So if I want to double that, now instead of having roughly about 1 day, I have 2 days. That's why you want that extra battery. In fact, you can go ahead and actually have up to 5,000 kilowatts of power with your Delta 3. So if you've picked up any of the other power stations that we have here, maybe those extra batteries, you can use that. Guys, I'm just going to cross in front real quick because I want to go ahead and turn the microwave on. I just want you guys to see, I'm just going to set 30 seconds. So 30 seconds right now, you'll be able to see the wattage right here just jumped all the way up to about 1,600 watts. We can run a microwave 1,800 watts of power and beyond that with our power station. So I'm now cooking food inside of this microwave, although it's empty. I could be cooking food right now, induction burner, that air fryer. So now, although we're showing you all the different ways you can use it inside, don't just kind of put yourself in that box that you have to be indoors. Use this outdoors. Take that air fryer with you. Go tailgating. Think about, I know although we just kicked off, I guess, Father's Day about 30 minutes ago, yeah, what about the tool sheds or the she sheds or wherever you're thinking about in your home? And you talked about this, Helen, where there just aren't any outlets, the convenience of having those outlets now for you. So you've got it for the emergency, but you've got it for the entertainment. So I love that we get to show you the video of taking it outdoors, and then maybe it is for the picnic. Look, this is that sweet spot. This is what's made the Delta, what used to be the 1300, which was that kind of perfect Goldilocks size, the #1 popular power station, was because of the size of it, that it wasn't our 50-pound or 100-pound power station. Why do I mention that? We have power stations that will run 99% of your home appliances that are 50 pounds, 100 pounds, and up. This right here is less than 30 pounds, your Delta 3, and can now power 99% of your home appliances. It's got all of the brand new technology that you're, well, maybe not necessarily looking for, but you're gonna be wanting. And so when we come back, I mean, I want you to think about at that moment where you never know when power's gonna go out. When you're sitting there and you're thinking, and you're watching television right now, just like Helen and I were actually literally on television, and this happened. I don't have to worry about it. I just simply plug in my light. And now I've also not only got my light plugged in, but I've also got my full-size refrigerator plugged in. All of these things that we maybe don't think about, this is that PSA. This is that moment to really consider, what are you gonna do when it happens? Because it will happen. And it doesn't matter if you're here on the East Coast, if you're in the Midwest, if you're on the West Coast, we all rely on the same thing. And at some point, it will be pulled from us, and it might be just one power line out. You never know. We want to make sure that we have the power at home. This is how you do it for a lot of us who just feel like generators aren't for me, but a power station like EcoFlow is.
Yeah, and before we take a break, I do want to mention the extra battery. We have already, during this presentation, we're just launched it at midnight. Already more people have bought it than we had guessed for the entire hour. Every single time we've had the EcoFlow as a Today Special with an extra battery available, it is sold out every time early in the day. So it's $449.99. You do have VIP financing. You could take a year to pay it off. It's $37.50 a month. It will double the power of your EcoFlow Delta that you're buying, but you won't double the price. So I just wanted to mention that you guys can still get it because it is available. And I also know that most people are getting the bundle. You guys are smart because if there is a power incident and you need to use your EcoFlow, of course you can, infinitely recharge it, but how are you gonna recharge it? If the power's out, how do you recharge it? That's where the solar panel come in. And I do want to point out, while you're recharging it with the solar panel, you can still have things plugged in and continue to use it. You also get with the bundle, not just the $230 solar panel, but the $160 wagon. You get both of these. So it's like getting the EcoFlow for like $200. It's the best deal we've ever done, the lowest price, the biggest bundle, and it's exclusive to us here at HSN. You can go to the EcoFlow website. You can do a search of it for the Delta 3. This is the latest and greatest. It has got more power, and Justin pointed out lightweight. The warranty Justin was talking about, I will say that mine is, I think I've had mine for at least 5 years, but I've, works and recharges and love it. And Justin, are you coming here with your extra battery or?
Knowing that I don't have to carry this around with the wagon.
He loves the wagon.
Shout out to Shannon Smith, who was Miss Wagon.
Okay.
And still is.
Well, we're going to take a little break, and when Justin and I come back, we're going to do the whole presentation from the beginning, but keep shopping. Very popular.
Hey there. Let's chat about getting some of the best deals on the things you love. Because when you're an HSN card VIP, the perks are all yours. And who doesn't love extra perks? Like 12 to 18-month VIP financing on select items, plus extra flex on items that you love all day, every day. And HSN card VIPs enjoy extra perks. Oh, if you apply today and if approved, you could get $15 off your order. So, are you ready to jump in? Give them a ring or visit hsn.com.
Celebrate without limits this June at HSN. Express your unique beauty, wear all kinds of beautiful shines. Explore what's next and best with over 20 beauty brands starting at 20% off. Plus exclusive brand launches, bonus buys, and beautiful deals. Shop and connect with us and turn up your glow factor. Join us for all kinds of beautiful Sundays in June from 8 to 10 on HSN and shop all month long at hsn.com.
HSN. We're live here in Florida, which is the perfect place to talk about Emergency Preparedness Month, June. My name is Helen Keeney. Please follow me on my social media. On Instagram, I'm the official Helen Keeney. I'll be doing lots of fun stuff. My last day is actually later tonight, and I'm going to be going into doing stand-up comedy full-time, which is a career that I've had in parallel to this the whole time. But I will tell you that living in Florida has been a joy, but also there is hurricanes and power outages, and EcoFlow is there for me. It's so great to know that when the lights go out, I'm not like, even if I'm in the middle of watching a movie and the lights are gonna go out, the power's gonna go out for an hour, I can plug in the internet, I can plug in my movie, and I can just go about my day. I feel like the older I get, Justin, the less I want it to have my kind of creature comforts and anything interrupted. Here's what your choices are for the Today Special. The EcoFlow Delta 3, which is the latest and greatest model, it'll power 99% of your appliances, including a full-size refrigerator, all your medical devices like a CPAP machine, your nebulizer, your coffee maker, your laptop, your everything. You can get that by itself, for $519.99, or you can get the bundle, which is, I'm going to explain why I recommend it. The bundle, you get a solar panel. It's actually, the solar panel by itself is on hsn.com, and I don't even know, maybe we can show that, Sam. It's, thank you. It's on sale for $230. That's the sale price. So $230, you could buy it by itself, but if you get it with the bundle, you get the solar panel and this really cool wagon to take your EcoFlow, put it in, and take it anywhere you want to go with it. This is a $160 wagon by itself. You get both of these for just $100 more, $619.99, than getting the EcoFlow by itself. Now, I do recommend you get it with your HSN credit card. No annual fee. You get a year to pay it off if it's just the EcoFlow. However, if you choose the bundle, you get a year and a half to pay it off. So per month, it's actually cheaper to get the bundle. It is $34.45 a month to get the bundle, and it is $43.33 to just get the EcoFlow, because 1 year to pay it off, a year and a half to pay it off. But why do we need an EcoFlow? Why do we need power? What are the choices? A gas generator or fingers crossed, Justin? What should we do? What do you think?
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, a lot of people do that.
Well, but look, so look, we've been 7 years now. So that means 7 years ago, you did fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's true.
Literally, right?
Yes.
You just said, okay, well, either we have a generator or we don't. And there were no other options. We had gas or we had propane. But you know what? I mean, it was expensive. There's also the maintenance. There's also the fear. I mean, let's be honest. It is a generator. If you've never run one before, would you feel like you have the confidence to do it, especially in an emergency? We know that all the different things that are going on in our head, you will run out eventually of gas because you think, well, I've got enough gas for maybe a couple of days. But then what happens when it's 3-4 days, and then 5 days, and then 10 days, and then we were out of power for 2 weeks during these hurricanes, some people 3 weeks. So you just don't consider those things because you don't think that they're gonna happen. But sometimes we have to think about when it will happen, because ultimately that's it. So look, a generator, great for some people, not great for everybody, as we know. but a power station is. We've got our little wagon right here. This is, by the way, the first time we've ever even presented the wagon. I'm in love with the wagon. They sent me it about a week ago. I'm like, thank you. It's not plastic. This is truly a really, really well-designed wagon. And it really kind of just goes for the branding of EcoFlow. Everything that they do build is
I want to go
super
camping
nice.
Just looking at the wagon.
I want to camp in the wagon. I want to camp in the wagon. But we've got the power station. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, if you guys don't mind? And Dan, I'm going to walk over here to the extra battery, because I want you to see this, Helen. I'm not sure if you noticed this. So typically with our extra batteries, what you end up having to do is put it next to your power station.
Yes, I believe you always do that.
This one you don't.
Oh.
This one actually stacks on top of your power station, just like this, and it's 30% lighter than any of the other extra batteries that we've done.
How much more power do you get getting the extra battery?
So you're gonna double it. So instead of looking at, so it would be an additional extra tank of gas, except it doesn't need gas. This one actually will work with our Delta 3, but that's a great point, Sam, that our producer just made. So we're showing you the Delta 3 extra battery. What's amazing about our Delta 3 power station is, when I talked about you can go all the way up to 5,000 kilowatts of extra power, and here's what I mean by that, because you can go ahead and say, all right, well, what if I've got the Delta Pro 3 extra battery? You can use that. If you have the Delta Max 2 extra battery, you can use that as well. So for some of you watching right now, you're saying, I have no idea what he's talking about. You're just going to definitely want to consider picking up the extra battery. You're already getting an unbelievable savings. What we've noticed is like 90% of the people love picking up the extra battery while it's available.
So already in this show, more people have bought it than we expected for the entire hour. We're only halfway through.
Yeah, not surprised.
And every single time we've had the extra battery, it's sold out earlier in the day, and have been, how many? 1 in 4 people buying
Holy
this
cow.
are getting the
Not
battery,
surprised at all,
which is the highest percentage of people picking up that extra battery. And we have way less of the extra battery than we do of the Today Special, FYI. So if you want the extra battery, I know this is going to be re-aired at 4 a.m. and throughout the evening or early morning, but if you will be able to get the extra battery if you hear the sound of my voice. But I'm going to come back later on today.
But you're going to be on all day.
Yeah, I am. I'm back doing, I think, are we on at 9 p.m. and 11? Yeah. You and I are doing the final presentations. I would be surprised if we had the extra battery then, unless we go back to EcoFlow during the day and get more.
No, so I can tell you.
Oh.
So I have this conversation with them all the time, because we never have enough, because they're so popular.
But can't you call them?
Well, here's the reason. We have every single extra battery that there pretty much is in the United States.
Oh, we already have all that.
For our Today's Special. So because they sell out early.
Yeah.
They never make it to the end.
Never.
And it's because, one, they're discounted. You get the idea that it's doubling the time that you can actually run all of your appliances. So, and I love the fact that you look at the size of it. It's lighter weight than any of the other ones. It stacks on top of our Delta 3. We've never been able to do that. It is a newer design. But then just having that, plus you're also getting the solar panel. So it's a 160-watt solar panel. So now, again, when we talk about eventually this runs out, you know what doesn't run out? The sun. As apocalyptic as the world might feel at some point in time, the sun's still going to come out tomorrow. We can use the sun to recharge our power station. And you mentioned something too, which is one of my favorite parts of our power stations, is that when our power station's at 100%, we can still use our solar panel, because now we can actually use it as, for instance, a solar generator. So now I can have my power station connected to my solar panel, and then continuing to use the power from the sun to charge my phones, to plug in my fans, to plug in my lights. And so the sun now is powering all of those things that I've got plugged in, and it's not pulling the power necessarily from the battery, it's pulling it strictly from the solar panel. So the idea of using your solar panel just strictly for rechargeability, great, but you're gonna use it for more reasons than that. And then again, the infinite amount of ways that you're gonna use your power station.
Right.
We talk about a few of them, but then people say, for a pilot light, for my water heater, for a sump pump, all these different ways we've read throughout the years from you.
Right.
Because you're gonna come up with ideas right now that you're gonna be able to utilize.
Right, and some people don't even have the option of a gas generator. If you live in an apartment or a condo or a townhouse, you cannot use a gas generator. And by the way, if you have a gas generator, I hope you know all the safety rules. You're supposed to leave it very far. I think, is it 30 feet away from your house, Justin?
The generator has to be 20 plus feet away.
20 plus feet away from your house for safety. Please do that. But the other thing that happened is, because we lived through Hurricane Milton, we had, massive flooding flooding, and so many people that work here at HSN were personally affected by it, having their houses, you know, flooded. The problem is those that had a gas generator, first of all, it was flooding, so all their generators got flooded. But even if you had your generator somewhere where it wasn't flooded and you went to get more gas, there was no gas anywhere. That was the other thing, is it took weeks before we got gas again. But those of us, like myself, with the EcoFlow, had power. So whether you live in a studio apartment, a townhouse, a condo, a big, huge house, a little, whatever you do, an EcoFlow will always be able to power 99% of your appliances. Now they don't all do that. The Delta 3 does that. We're doing, there's different levels of EcoFlow. This is one of the most powerful ones at 99% of all the appliances. And Justin's going to talk about like something that is, even if there's no, storm or anything, and there's just like a little blip in the power, a lot of people use this every day, 24/7, right?
Without a doubt, right? So we were talking about what would be called an uninterrupted power source. So if you're using your EcoFlow and you've got this plugged into the wall, and then for instance, you've got your desktop computer or a CPAP machine or a refrigerator or a aquarium, a fish tank at the home, immediately, your EcoFlow will recognize you lost power in about 20 milliseconds, continue to power everything that you've got plugged in. So virtually continue without even losing power. So even with your desktop computer, you will have true uninterrupted power. So we've got a CPAP machine plugged in right now. We're at roughly about 96%. It's saying roughly about 8.6 hours. That's gonna jump up in just a second here because with a CPAP machine kind of levels itself out. But we got our light going, we got our CPAP machine going. Even if it was for just that, about 9 hours, it would be worth its weight in gold knowing that I've got my CPAP machine that can be running this. One of the things you had talked about too was, just being able to recharge it and knowing that it doesn't take a long time, that I'd be able to recharge this in roughly about 30 minutes all the way up to 80%, in less than an hour, 56 minutes, all the way up to 100%. So medical devices, and then of course, having the peace of mind of having it right here. You're gonna use it more ways than you would ever use the generator, but even if you're talking about, like you had said, Helen, which is like, what if you lose power for 3 hours? Okay, 3 hours. The time it would take you when this happens, right now, you recognize we're now out of power. We don't know when the power's gonna come back on, but I'm gonna have to go get my generator ready.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go get that set up. Maybe you rely on somebody to get it for you. Is the gas still good? Or do you need an extension cord all the way from that's at least, what, 30, 40 feet? It has to be outside. And here's the other thing. During a hurricane, when we have 3 feet of water or 4 feet of water outside, you know where your generator's gonna be? Outside. You're gonna then have to go outside in the middle of a hurricane. You know where you're not gonna have to go outside when you've got your EcoFlow? Outside. You get to stay indoors where you're safe, where it's comfortable. And remember, here's the other great thing about your EcoFlow Delta 3 is that you're getting the latest and greatest battery technology. I wanna talk about this really quickly. Battery technology has gotten better and better and better. This is the 4th generation of our LFP batteries. What does that mean? We have a kind of a set level of life cycles, a limited amount, where for even instance like our phone battery, eventually you sit there and say, my phone does not last as long as it used to. And it's true, it doesn't. Batteries just simply over time, when they deplete and then recharge, you have a limited amount of times you can do that. We used to have roughly about 300 life cycles on our EcoFlow before the power station would only go from 0 to 80%. Now we had 3,000 life cycles. So you would have to deplete it and recharge it every single day for 10 years before your power station only went from 0 to 80%. Your Delta 3 is the 4th generation. We've added another 1,000 cycles to it. 4,000 life cycles right here in your Delta 3 before you had your power station only charging from 0 to 80%. So that's well over 10 years. What's happened in the past 10 days, 10 months, 2 years, 3 years, the storms that we've had to deal with. That's how many summers, that's how many winters, that's how many trips, that's how many football games or tailgating or wherever you think about going that you'll be able to have as an investment over those times. And then remember, it's not a 2-year warranty like it used to be. It is a 5-year warranty that you now get because it is that LFP battery. So I just love the longevity aspect of an investment like this. It's not like you're saying, oh, well, it'll be great, those little power banks, it'll be great for a couple years. This is going to be with you in your household, in your family, at a minimum 10 years.
a minimum 10 years. And remember, you have your choice of getting the Delta EcoFlow, it's a Delta 3 by itself, or getting the bundle. Now, the bundle is almost $500. It's $230 on sale for the solar panel. Comes with a case, by the way. And then the wagon, which is, you know, you've got this metal frame, able to, you know, of course you're going to take your EcoFlow, but you're also going to be able to put a bunch of stuff and go to the beach and use the wagon for so many other things. Gardening, you'll use this wagon for a million different things. This is a $160 wagon by itself. For $100 more, so it's $519.99 for just the EcoFlow. For $619.99, you're getting almost $500 in extra. So it's like the EcoFlow is only about $100. I mean, it's an amazing, I'm blown away by what we're doing. I really think everybody needs a solar panel because honestly, it's kind of pointless because, yeah, you use this during an emergency, but then you want to recharge your EcoFlow, and if there's no power, how do you do that? You do that with the solar panel. So you need to have an HSN card to have the VIP financing advantage. What does that mean? You get a year to pay it off, just the EcoFlow, a year and a half to pay it off with the bundle. You go to hsn.com, put an HSN card in the search, or call that 800 number, 1-800-695-1418. If you just get the EcoFlow Delta 3 power station with the 13 ports, it's $43.33 a month. However, if you get the bundle, you get a year and a half to pay it off. It's actually less money per month because you're spreading it out over a year and a half. It's $34.45 a month. And by the way, I do have the cover for the solar panel. This is included. It comes with it when we send it to you. And by the way, I haven't even mentioned this yet. The shipping and handling is free. So you've got an EcoFlow, which is a $45 value in and of itself, just the shipping and handling for the wagon, the cover, and the solar panel, and the EcoFlow itself, which, yeah, it only weighs 27, almost 28 pounds, but still, this isn't free to ship. We're shipping it for free, Justin.
I would even venture to guess that $45 is probably on the low end. We ship a lot of stuff. Box shipping right now is ridiculous. Shipping the wagon would feel like that's probably, so $50 I think is probably on the low end. It might even be closer to $100. The wagon is $160 in and of itself, and it is worth every single penny. We could do a presentation on this wagon by itself. It has that all-terrain wheel. It is not plastic framing. This is a thick, really lightweight aluminum. I like the spring handle right here. I want to show you, I've got my power station. So this will be able to hold your power station. I've got my light, of course, plugged in, but I want you to see what's really cool. You get the little bungee cords included. You also get a little cover for your wagon. And all you do is you take the little middle right here and you just fold it up just like this, and then you collapse down the handle, and then you slip over the little cover. This is so well designed and so nice. I'm telling you, you're gonna end up using this wagon way more than you're probably going to even expect. I love that you just got that set up right here. And then, of course, I can just take my power station.
We've sold wagons like this during, like, Guys in the Garden garden shows. And it's that's been like $200.
It's the perfect summer gift.
Right.
I think this is exactly why we're doing it, because we've never actually even offered the wagon before. But I think if you are going to be doing any road trips, you're going to want to have the wagon. You're going to want to be able to be portable. That's the greatest thing, right? Take it anywhere you want. So now we've got our light, we've got our power station. I'm just going to unplug the light on this one, and then we'll move it over here, because now think about even just taking your fan and taking it outdoors. If you're the grandmother who's out right now and going to all the different baseball games and soccer games or softball games, well, how nice would it be to say, you know what, yeah, let's go there, but let's also bring the fan with us, so we're not sitting there in the stands sweating in the 99-degree weather that we're experiencing. It was like 100 degrees here just the other day. It's nice to have those conveniences, and now you can have it for those moments, but then ultimately have it for the moments of losing power at home. And then it really is that emergency. You have it for the fun stuff, you have it for emergencies. This blends the best of both worlds, or maybe not the best parts of those, but now having the best parts that we enjoy, like having power, and those parts that we feel kind of just vulnerable. And you feel vulnerable ultimately when you're not prepared. This is that moment to get prepared and finally have a plan and have something that's gonna be there with you. That's something that's easy, because Helen, you're not gonna sit there and say, hey, you know what, don't worry, I'm gonna go grab the generator.
Right.
I just can't see you saying that.
No, I would not say that. But here's what I will say. It is Father's Day, so I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Justin and I are not fathers, but we recognize that this is, if you thought, you know what, I wish I would have known about this. This would have been a great Father's Day gift. I have my secret way to do things if you forget to get somebody a gift, or you see the perfect gift at too late. Obviously, we can't ship it to you in time for Father's Day. It's right now. But what you can do is order it, and then you can take a picture of it, and you can email it to fathers saying, Happy Father's Day. I got you this for Father's Day. It's on its way. And I have done that many times with gifts that I know aren't going to get there at the right time for what I'm doing. So I just thought I would mention that. Now, we've only got about 6 minutes left in this presentation. I'm really excited for those of you who are getting the Today Special. Most of you are getting the bundle, and most of you are getting the extra battery. So I'm like really concerned about this extra battery. You're doubling your power and not doubling the price. The extra battery price is just $449.99. If you do VIP financing, it's $37.50 a month, and you're doubling your power. Not all the EcoFlows are advanced enough to be able to take an extra battery that doubles the power, but this one is. So I did want to mention we have a limited number that if you're watching right now, you're able to get it. Now, I also want to say, you know, Justin and I searched for the EcoFlow from other retailers before we came out here, and the prices were around $630 just for the EcoFlow. So for more money than we're charging for the bundle of the solar panel and the wagon, and the cover for the solar panel and the cover for the wagon is still less money than the EcoFlow by itself for other retailers, Justin. With 5 minutes left, what should we talk about?
Well, I think, again, I think who's EcoFlow? We're, again, we're the #1 brand when we do this. And I think it's extremely important because this didn't exist before. You know, when we think about the kind of just popularity of electric vehicles, it's because of the simplicity that's involved in electric vehicles. You don't have to worry about the maintenance, being able to plug it in. But it's also just that battery technology that's gotten better and better and better. And that's what EcoFlow's done. We've created and been kind of a disruptor in a world that only had gas and propane. That was it. That meant that every one of us right now who doesn't feel comfortable with a generator had no other option. Every one of us who lived in an apartment or condo couldn't own a gas or propane generator. So what were our options? Sitting there, as you said, Helen, twiddling our thumbs or crossing our fingers and hoping, I'm hoping that the power comes back on. You're not sitting hoping and wishing that something's gonna happen. Now you can make something happen. And now EcoFlow has done that, created an alternative energy source for you to be able to have at home and use inside of your home, in your apartment, in your condo. So over those past 7 years that we launched here at HSN, we have become the #1 power station brand here at HSN, #1 power station brand in the world as well. And in the United States, we're in about 140 different countries, over about 5 million customers, and we have a variety of different power stations. We've made it easy for you though, because although we've got a lot of them that are smaller and a lot that may be bigger, this is the best of those both sizes. It is right there in the middle. So you've got the best right here in the Delta 3, and it's the latest and greatest of that little kind of Goldilocks size. You don't have to worry about reading an instruction manual, which of course you will, but it takes one finger to just simply press one button to turn it on and to turn it off. Hell, you don't have to worry about learning, I gotta mix oil, I gotta have it 20 feet away, all these different things. I'm gonna grab my little wagon, by the way.
I was gonna say, bring your wagon.
I'm not leaving my wagon.
Bring your little wagon. I'm telling you, you're gonna take that to the beach, you're gonna gardening. We have had in our gardening shows a wagon like that I remember was like a couple $100. I think it was in Guys in the Garden, and it sold out. So the fact that we're including with the bundle, you get the solar panel and you get the wagon, and of course you get the Delta 3 EcoFlow. EcoFlow that powers 99% of your home appliances. And what you're getting today is such an amazing deal. And here's the deal. $519.99 without the bundle, $619.99 with the bundle, but it's about $500 in extras for only $100 more. So if you would like to jump in and get the today's special, we do have FlexPay, which I hadn't talked about. I talked about VIP. Without the bundle, it's $104. With the bundle, it's $124. But free shipping, you're saving another $54. What $45.72 for the bundle. That's what the shipping would be. The Delta EcoFlow by itself is $22.47. I have eagle eyes. I can see across.
You can see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't want to hear about how I'm old.
No, I can't see up close.
I didn't even realize there was a screen in front of us.
I can see across the studio, but I can't see right in front of me. But Justin, I know that you're going to be on throughout the day.
Yeah.
How many times a year does EcoFlow do today's specials? I know it's emergency preparedness month, so we're leaning in, you know.
So this is only the second of the year so far. Typically, this is kind of EcoFlow month, so we always like to do it at the beginning of hurricane season for this reason,
right.
So you can start to get ready. We're going to have some more kind of towards the end of the year, but this is the moment to be doing, which would be right now.
For this hurricane season.
Right. Yeah, we may have, I think we have maybe one more in August.
Okay.
But okay, between now and then,
right.
What's going to
knows
happen?
What's going to happen?
Right.
But also, you know, we talk a lot about that we're in the studios here in Florida, but I watch the news and I'm like, well, what's going on in Texas? They had like this big thing of power outages, and then all across the country in the Midwest, you know, there's so many things. And of course, out in the West Coast, there's a lot of the, you know, with a lot of the fires also comes power outages.
Yeah.
There isn't like, oh, okay, there's a part of the country that doesn't experience power outages. I lived in New York City. We used to have brownouts because in the summer, everybody would turn their air conditioner on all at once.
Exactly.
And then you wouldn't be able to use it. So you could power your portable air conditioner, which I think is one of the most important things that it powers. So Justin, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. I'm going to see you later on today.
I'll see you later today. New Yorkers are happy when they're hot, right?
No, that's incorrect.
No,
that's not right.
I read that wrong.
Yeah, that is completely incorrect. All right, I'm going to be shopping with you for the next hour, shockingly. And I've got 3 electronic items that I'm going to give you a little peek at when I start the hour out with. But keep shopping for your EcoFlow. It's something that I